do.
And now, you should have audio?
Yeah, that was my bad. Sorry.
Blame the show.
Blame the show.
Yeah, I agree with you that this was the best Spider-Man.
Right.
I didn't care for Raimi's Spider-Man back in the original days, though we all went and saw it.
I liked
Didn't like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
I haven't seen those.
It's not worth it.
I liked the second Spider-Man by Sam Raimi, the one with Melina as Doc Ock.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good.
I like Molina in that movie, but
Yeah.
he wanted to come back and reprise that role, but they've done Doc Ock enough, and they've done the Green Goblin enough.
And oh yeah, they've beat that one to death.
Mark Hamill wanted to be the Vulture, and the kid that plays Coral in Walking Dead wanted to be Spider-Man.
Oh, I would have hated the fucking movie.
He auditioned, and yeah, I would not have cared for that.
Yeah.
I think he is going to go into oblivion when Walking Dead is over. I don't see him having a career.
Yeah, no. So at this point, or in this movie, we've got Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. Now, where do we know him from outside of...
You know, the only other thing I've ever seen him in was Civil War. So
Right. So
I'm sure there's other shit, but
IMDb to the rescue.
DBIM.
Spider-Man Homecoming. Let's go to Mr. Tom Holland here. The Impossible Lock. Untitled Spider-Man Homecoming sequel. Yeah. No, I mean, really nothing. The Lost City of Z, Edge of Winter.
He looks a lot like a younger
was in
version of the dude from Turn, if you've seen that.
I have not seen Turn.
Billy Elliot, any of that.
Negative.
The dude that was opposite Hayden Christensen in Jumper, that kid.
I've
who I'm
seen it
referring
once.
to.
Oh, so I know what he is. He's young Nathan Drake.
Oh, really?
He's gonna be young Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie.
No shit.
Yeah.
Does Nathan Drake have an accent?
No, he's American.
Is he?
Yeah. But yeah, so I knew that there was something else that he was tied to. But yeah, he's gonna be young Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie, which will be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because he was good, you know. I mean, so he is. Now they were meant to be in high school. He was meant to be a sophomore, but he was actually born in '96, so he's 21.
Mm-hmm. As always, they
right.
have adults playing
And
teenagers.
then the girl that played Liz, who was supposed to be a senior, is 27.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, because it was high school, not college, right?
Yeah, it was high school. Yeah, homecoming.
Oh yeah, because he
man.
references him being a 14-year-old kid, and he says, "I'm 15."
Right. So
Yeah.
that's funny that Hollywood gives us a skewed view of age. No wonder we have so many weirdos going around for high school kids.
Right. Taking it dark really quick.
Yep. Didn't mean to. Things are coming out of my face and I can't control it.
Better than things coming in your face and not being able to control it.
Matt Stein. So I watched this movie again. It's my second viewing since seeing it in the theater. The characters don't hold up. The main characters, the Toombs, Michael Keaton's character, I still like. But the kids fall flat and kind of annoying for me. And it's not their fault. They do a good job acting.
Right.
It's just the fact that they're playing these kids and they have to go through the whole, the whole gamut of storyline.
Right.
He's whiny and self-discovery and learning that he can rely on himself and he's more than just a suit and all of this. The whiny 15-year-old didn't care for. The fat man in the chair friend, whose name I can't remember. I thought they were borderline going like Beauty and the Beast there, where he's like a little bit in love with Peter Parker. Maybe not, but you could almost glean that, I think. The bitchy girl, didn't like her very much. And not the one that ends up being MJ, but the one that he has a crush on the whole time. I found her to be kind of annoying too. And I really don't like what they've done with Flash. Penis Parker. No. But these are all...
Oh, come on. You didn't like the whole, when I say penis, you say Parker?
When I say geek, you say up? No.
That's the first thing I thought of when I heard that.
I know, the guy ripped me off. These are all epiphanies I've had the second time through. The first time I was cool with it all, but this time it didn't. I wasn't so into it. What are you looking for?
I was looking for the kid.
Penis Parker?
No, the other one.
Fat kid?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Ned.
What's he, like 40?
Jacob is no 21.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, I thought he was good. He see, now I have a hard time with some movies like this. Like I like, okay, so we're talking about the like the party scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted him to reveal that he was Spider-Man. Like I wanted him to just go in there and be like, yeah, like fuck you all. Because like that's what I would do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you've got like the hot senior, you're the nerdy kid, and like everyone's questioning your internship with Stark. Everyone is now questioning that you have some sort of friendship with Spider-Man. Like everyone's questioning it. Like how like you just go in there and I mean all the other Avengers are showing their identities.
Right.
So it's not like it's frowned upon.
Right. I think the only reason for him is because in the comics, the only time that Spider-Man ever revealed himself was in Civil War, and then that got retconned. And he's a kid, so he's not necessarily as safe as, say, the adults might be.
Right.
But, I mean, would any kid have the presence of mind to think his way out of that?
No.
And not go in there and be spiteful? If you were Spider-Man and you were 15...
Right.
And you had a chance to make everything go your way?
Well, exactly, yeah. That's like the equivalency of like the adult winning the lottery.
Right.
Like that's what that is right there. Like you
Right.
go in and you are suddenly...
Right.
Like, I mean, it was like Ned said in that gym scene. He goes, if anyone has a chance with a senior, it's you. You're an Avenger.
Yeah.
And he wasn't quite an Avenger at that point, but still.
You know, they don't need to know that, right?
Right? Exactly. So we start off the movie with Michael Keaton as Toombs, and who eventually becomes Vulture. I have to say I like Vulture in the movie. He's always been kind of a goofy villain.
Yeah, I never liked him as a villain. A lot of those villains, I mean, Venom and Carnage, I like.
Right.
But a lot of the Spider-Man villains, I'm not a fan of. Doc Ock is all right, but he looks stupid.
Yeah.
I like Hobgoblin. Don't really like Green Goblin. Norman Osborn can suck a dick. Craven sucks. The Scorpion dude, his name might be Scorpion.
Scorpion.
Sucks. The
Who's
Wizard.
that dude that looks like a scorpion?
Wizard.
The Scorpion?
Wizard sucks. Shocker, and then Electro. Well, they're like the same. Sucks.
Okay, so
I like
Shocker...
Black Cat, and I like fucking Carnage.
Now, I don't know my Spider-Man lore that well, right? So is Shocker an actual villain?
Yeah.
But now, so is Electro.
Well, they both were. In the cartoons or in the comics, Electro has green and yellow.
Yeah.
And then he has a mask that looks like a lightning bolt in a star shape.
Okay, right.
And then Shocker, in the movie, he kind of looks like he does in the comics with the jacket he had on.
Yeah.
He has red and yellow, and it's like netting. And then he only wears one in the movie, but he has like percussion fists.
Okay.
That are electric, you know? But they both are electricity-based villains.
Right.
Just make them one villain. I don't know. I just don't like Spider-Man. Marvel doesn't
They
do villains
merge him
well.
and call him the Electric Shock.
Right. Yes. That's it. Marvel's villains are kind of goofy, I guess.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they're all up for. We've talked about this on one of the other podcasts where like Marvel's villains are all like they're all world domination centric.
Yeah.
Like that's what they do.
It's funny. I haven't really read comics in the last couple of years, but it seems to be that the heroes grow and change, and their motivations change, and they kind of mirror society. But the villains don't necessarily do that. They still want $1 million.
Right. I agree. So we've got this point now where in the beginning, Toombs isn't really a bad guy. We see him in the beginning, and now I don't know what the actual origin story is of Vulture, but I'm sure it's not the same as this.
No.
So, but we've got Toombs is running a crew, and they are running the cleanup project from the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, they're like damage control
or the
before
second
damage
Avengers.
control.
Yeah. So they go in and they're cleaning up, and they're cleaning up all the alien parts and shit like that. And then this woman comes in and basically gives them a cease and desist and says, "Look, this is all being handled by experts now. You're welcome to go. You've been relieved of your duties. And he just kind of says fuck it, and he goes off, and then they go back and they have a load of scrap from the day before, and they say, you know what, like, we don't have to deal with this, so let's hear a little bit of Tombs.
I'll tell you what, let's keep it. The world's changing. It's time we change too.
Damn the man. We're going to do what we want.
Right. So he is in there, and again, he's not really a bad guy. He's just like, I assume the company would have went under because he said he spent a bunch of money on that job, right?
Yeah.
So he's just trying to kind of roll with the punches and do what he can because he has a little girl, he has his wife, he's trying to keep his family above ground. Are you looking something up?
Yeah, I wanted to know who the woman was that told him to stop. Apparently her name was Anne-Marie Hogue, and she was the director of Damage Control, which doesn't really tell us anything we didn't already know except her actual name.
Right.
Because we knew that it was Damage Control.
Oh, you mean the character's Anne-Marie Hogue?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so you fast forward, and now he has the Vulture suit. I like the fact that in this movie there was no build-up. And what I mean by that is, from the very beginning, Spider-Man was Spider-Man, Vulture was Vulture.
Right, and that was a crux in this film, is that we've had enough fucking backstory.
Right.
So we don't need that anymore. This is the first Spider-Man film where they did not mention Uncle Ben at all.
Right.
And Aunt May gets younger and hotter.
Right.
They hipped it right up. I also appreciated that Vulture, unlike the previous villains, his costume and shit is based in technology. It's not stupid.
Right.
Like Goblin, when they did Goblin in Spider-Man and it was Defoe. Or Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse. Like, all of the prototype costumes look amazing, and then the ones that they choose always look fucking stupid.
Right.
This one was intimidating and made sense, you know? They built up enough so that you saw what powered the suit, and then it looked like it actually would fly. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it was completely practical. Again, it's almost like it almost fits into the Nolan verse of Batman, whereas this, like, that Vulture in that incarnation could exist in real life.
Right. It's
there
like
was
something
nothing
that Lucius Fox would have designed.
Right. I mean, granted, the way that they had done it, it was based off of the alien tech, but it was all within the realm of reality or physical reality.
Right. The only alien tech that you need to suspend disbelief for is that they had a power source that was minuscule in size and limitless in power.
Right.
So, you know.
They essentially had an alien arc reactor.
Right.
So, and that's why that worked. So then, after we get introduced to Vulture and his crew, his cronies, and again, they're still not really evil at this point. They're criminals. They're stealing.
Yeah, he's definitely got some thugs, but you would expect that anyway, given his business beforehand. That's the ex-con stereotypical type business.
Like the
to go
salvage,
into.
yeah.
Right. So you're going to have a bunch of probates anyway, and that's probably the wrong word. Because probates handle your will, I think. But doesn't matter. Yeah. So, right.
Those people.
Yeah, continue on. Yeah.
But yeah, so they aren't quite bad at this point. They are to the point where they're evil. They're not villains. They're men trying to make a living in a criminal way, and just trying to, you know, support their family, because what they did for a job is now being done by Damage Control, and they can't work. So that's kind of where we're left with them for the moment, and then we are brought in, and we get a little not an overlay, but a little screen cap on the video that says a Peter Parker production, or a film by Peter Parker. And then now we have gone back, and now we are in the setup to Spider-Man's scene in Civil War, where he was picked up by Happy. It's Happy, right?
Yep.
Okay, he's picked up by Happy. He is brought in. Right now he's just wearing kind of like that beginner Spidey outfit where it's the hoodie with the ski mask. And so this is Peter Parker kind of narrating his own little video.
Oh my God!
Put it on.
What this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Let's go.
But, yeah, well, I don't understand. Is it for me? Happy, wait. This is insane. Look at this thing. Look at the eyes. This is the greatest day of my life.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay, there's Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow. Whoa, who's that new guy? Oh, that's me. I gotta go. Hey, everyone. Okay, so the craziest thing just happened, right? I started a fight with Captain America, and I stole his shield, and I threw it at him, and what the hell? He's big now. I gotta go. Hang on.
Okay, now, I really liked that. And the reason I really liked that is because if you have a 15-year-old that's Spider-Man, that's exactly what he's fucking doing.
Yeah, especially in this day and age. Of course he's going to put that on the internet.
Right.
Or at least save it for posterity since he can't.
I like that they tied that in. I liked that when somebody saw him on the rooftop later in the movie, they're like, hey, you're that Spider-Man from YouTube.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
exactly. I really like that they brought that into modern culture. I mean, they had to, but they didn't. They could have gone too far or not far enough, and I think they did it just right.
I mean, it definitely connects the key demographic in a perfect way. The people that are going to see this movie are doing that thing in society anyway.
Right.
I like it for the fact that it ties the two movies together, and it gives you Spider-Man in his own movie that perspective. So you see that whole battle again from a totally different view, and now you know what Spider-Man is going through. Yeah, he's playing it cool. Hey, what's up? Holy fuck, I'm fighting Cap. Ah.
Right. Like he has like his presentation.
Right.
And then like, yeah. So that was pretty cool. I almost would like to have seen more of that either in deleted scenes or that would have been cool like PR stuff leading up to the movie.
Yeah.
Cuz they could have done a whole bunch of that shit. But again, that almost ties back a little bit to what you were talking about with the whole Spider-Man and not revealing that he's Spider-Man, and would a 15-year-old have that mindset? Now we say that, yeah, he was calm and collective enough to not fully reveal himself to his classmates, which you shouldn't do because you'll get expelled if you reveal yourself to your classmates. But then he does this, so he obviously still has that, right? So like they
right, but the video that got uploaded was not that video. I mean, it's not. You don't see him.
I guess this was prior too.
Right. This video is one that they have the whole argument in the beginning where they're you can't show that to anybody. So I don't know. I'm sure there were other people at the airport because everything's on camera these days, right? So,
right.
Regardless, though, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, if I was a 15-year-old, I probably would have uploaded that.
Yeah, yeah.
Not knowing that, I'm fucking myself, but
right.
Whatever.
But again, you're Spider-Man.
Right. And on that note, going back to damage control and all that, we get to a point in the movie where, those guys start making weapons and shit out of the stuff that they salvage. Spider-Man tries to tell Tony Stark to do something about it, and he says it's below the Avengers' pay grade. I would like to see Spider-Man in the dark Netflix world of the Defenders and have him dick around with them, because that's kind of the level that he's on. Yes, he ends up being an Avenger later on, but he starts out in high school, and like if you read the comics, you get to see Spider-Man go up through school all the way to being, I guess he's a scientist now. He was a reporter, now he's a scientist.
Right.
Whatever. So yeah, he's an Avenger now, but at some point he was just Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
I like how they reference that.
So let him fuck around with Daredevil, man.
Right.
I mean, the iteration of Daredevil we have now, originally Daredevil was a pretty slapstick, very bright colored hero, but now it's dark and gritty,
Yeah, I'm trying to think if they went Netflix with it. I don't think any of those Defenders, I don't think that there's anybody there that...
No.
Because they're all dark and gritty.
Yeah, it would not fit.
No.
But you got to think, like, when Affleck played Daredevil, who was his Foggy? Foggy Nelson was fucking happy, man. So fucking Favreau,
right.
not only does he direct all these Marvel films, but he gets to play all the fucked up name sidekicks.
Oh, is he the director?
I don't know if he didn't direct this one, I don't think.
Right.
But he's directed a few.
Because he's pretty well known.
We should check before we misinform everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm pulling it up right now.
Are you? Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, well, he's the producer.
Okay.
So Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 producer.
I think he directed the first Iron Man.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. That's actor. Is there a way I can go to director credits really easily? Oh, here we go. That's producer. So, yeah. So he's executive producer. He's executive producer on the Untitled Avengers movie. Executive on Infinity War. He's the executive producer on Young Sheldon. What the fuck?
Of course.
He's the executive producer on The Orville, which I still have yet to see.
Yeah, dude, that's like 10 episodes in too.
I think it's like
watch
4
that.
episodes in.
Fine. Forza. Fine. It's
All right,
fine.
so that's producing. Okay, so for directing, let's see, The Orville. No, he did not direct this. He directed Iron Man 1 and 2.
Apparently he's directing. He directed the live-action Jungle Book, and he's directing the live-action Lion King.
Right.
Crazy.
But actor-wise, like even beyond his producing and directing credits, like acting, there's a lot that you would know him from.
Yeah, man. There's all kinds of shit that he's been in.
Entourage, Wolf of Wall Street.
You know the episode of Seinfeld where George runs out of the house because it's on fire?
Right.
And he's at that party?
Yeah.
Favreau plays the clown.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Now, okay, so he's been now. See, I haven't gone back and watched Iron Man 1 and 2 in a while.
No, me neither.
But I didn't even realize like he played Happy Hogan in Iron Man 1, like the first of this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
Yeah.
So he's been
He's been in it for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy either way, like just how much time has gone by with the whole Marvel thing.
Well, yeah, because you had
even
Iron
before
Man.
Iron Man, like,
because that was
I knew Favreau from a bunch of other shit.
Oh yeah, no, by far.
It's getting to a point where I've been alive a long time. It's man, I'm going down the other side of that hill now.
He played himself on The Sopranos. But yeah, no, you go back and he's done a lot. He was in Deep Impact. He was in an episode of Friends. He was in a couple episodes of Friends.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's been in a lot. He's in Swingers. He was an assistant in Batman Forever. So, which was probably his. Yeah, he was Eric the Clown in Seinfeld. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah. His first ever movie was 1992's Folks as a Chicago taxi driver.
Oh, he's in Very Bad Things too. We should watch that. That's a good one.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's a bunch of friends that go to Vegas and like get a hooker and kill her, and then everything just gets worse and worse from there. It's Kobe Ty. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Porn star. She's in the movie.
Does not ring a bell. I assume she's Asian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they one of the guys is banging her in a bathroom, and he like puts her up against the wall and like up against the coat hook, and it like stabs her in the back of the head. So then they have to hide the body, but then it just becomes like somebody else gets killed and somebody else gets killed while they're trying to keep the secret, and they all just turn against each other. It's comedy,
Right.
but it's dark. It's ridiculous.
That sounds interesting. No, that would be cool to do. But anyway, yeah. So now we've gotten to the point where they do the video. I love that Tony like has the crush on Aunt May. I mean, it's Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
So it's expected.
I mean, it's a running joke in the movie when they go out for Thai and the waiter brings them rice pudding and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like lobe. I think he lobes you.
Yeah. And she's got the high-waisted tight pants on. She looks like a 70s mom.
Right. So we get the end of the Peter Parker video. We're getting in there, and now he's kind of been shunned. Now we end up figuring out kind of why he got shunned. Like, he's still young. He still has a lot to do.
Right.
But he feels left out. He feels like he was just kind of a one-off, and he's swinging around town. And this is the scene that I think was probably one of the more popular scenes from the trailer, when he catches Vulture's thugs taking out an ATM machine.
What's up, guys? You forget your PIN number?
Whoa, you're the Avengers! What are you guys doing here?
Thor, Hulk, good to finally meet you guys.
Oh, you'd be more handsome in person.
The greatest part of that clip for me right in this moment is listening to just the audio. It could totally be like Spider-Man, the animated series.
Right.
Having someone young play Spider-Man, it lends itself so perfectly to bringing a cartoon to life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really good job there. Didn't you already meet the Avengers? What are you doing? I met you guys. You're not the Avengers. Thor, it's good to meet you. Was Thor
No,
there?
because Thor and Hulk were not in Civil War.
Touche, you're right.
That's why so I didn't even think about that. So that was a good reference there.
Oh, boy.
A good throwback.
Boy.
Yeah, because they were filming Thor Ragnarok.
Yep, very good. Very good.
Which
when does that come out? Soon?
November. So yeah, next month.
We still got to see Kingsman. We should go see that and then do that next week.
It'd be hard because it'd have to be a special episode because we can't grab clips from it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
I mean, we could do it, but I'd have to have notes with. I'd have to like bring a notepad with me and like.
We'll just take our cell phones and we'll bootleg.
Yeah, because that would go over well.
We'll go to Smitty's. Hey, I'm on my phone.
I mean, there is the record button on the
true.
watch.
That's true.
There'd be horrible audio clips though.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. That would be illegal. So yeah, so he goes, he fights them, they take out the shop, and then he's kind of making his way back. And when he gets back to his room, his bedroom wasn't quite empty.
What was that? Nothing. Nothing.
You're the Spider-Man from YouTube.
I'm not.
You were on the ceiling.
No, I wasn't. Ned, what are you doing in my room?
Man, let me in. You said we're gonna finish a Death Star.
You can't just bust into my room. You can't just bust into my...
I loved the Legos.
Yes, everyone loves Legos.
I like that when they referenced them in the high school, one of the girls was like, "Oh, pathetic."
Yeah, I can relate to that.
But now, do we know the continuity? Because he said that Death Star set was like 3,800 pieces. Is that accurate?
Fuck do I know.
I figured you would have looked it up and checked.
To the internet we go.
But yeah, so I mean, whatever. It's cool. On a second or third viewing, I can see where Ned was maybe a bit much, but I thought he was a good kind of don't be so grounded kind of guy.
Right. He's an over the top geek, man. Like they go to that party and he wears his hat because it gives him confidence, and I don't know. He's just trumped up. It's all turned up. This one goes to 11.
Right.
Take it easy.
So now.
Oh, the piece count was accurate.
Was it?
Yes.
Nice. Good stuff.
Very well done. Way to do your research.
There we go. Now they are. Now he's just grilling him about being Spider-Man, and he wants to know everything he can possibly figure out.
Do you lay eggs?
What? No.
Can you spit venom?
No.
Can you summon an army of spiders?
No, Ned.
The Sokovia Accords were put into place in the way
How far can you shoot your webs?
Shut up.
to begin regulating those.
If I was you, I would stand on the edge of a building and just shoot it as far as I
Shut up, Ned.
Now that's obviously an allusion to sex, right? Like that's a masturbation
Well,
joke, right?
that was Spider-Man, right? Like, wasn't that the whole like analogy with Spider-Man? Was he was a prepubescent boy and his body's
Right.
going through changes?
Right.
Like the web shooter's always going off. Like, wasn't that like an ejaculation
Yeah, I
reference?
think so.
Yeah.
How could it not be, right?
Right.
So it's funny that he doesn't have venom or anything like that because that is quintessential Spider, you know? But you have to leave venom for venom and all that. Not that he has venom either, but venom is too much of a evil thing for a hero to have. But he has spider sense, which you might notice there's no spider sense in this movie.
There isn't.
What they've done is give him the suit, which has basically an Iron Man
I
computer in
loved
it.
the suit.
Yeah, I like that explanation.
Do you know
of
who
spider
voiced
sense.
the suit?
Yeah, Jennifer
Conley.
Which I also love.
Now, do you know why that's cool?
Yeah, there's a reason, and I knew it when this movie came out, and now I don't know it anymore.
Okay, so now I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays Vision, who did the voice of Jarvis,
They're married, right?
is married to Jennifer Conley, who now does the voice of Karen.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Keeping everything kind of close knit. But yeah, no, I mean the lay eggs thing. I mean, whatever. That's just. I mean, he's just being silly at that
Right.
point. But no, I mean, he was asking.
What if he
legitimate
did lay
questions.
eggs and he had to fucking swing through the city
But
with egg
why
sacks
doesn't
on
he
his
have?
back?
Why doesn't he have telekinetic powers that allows him to control spiders? That would be a cool ability for Spider-Man to have.
Telepathic? Yeah, that would be cool.
But did I say telekinetic?
Yes.
Yeah, telepathic powers. Like if you could telepathically talk to spiders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess then he'd be a villain because that would fuck a lot of people up.
So, I talked to you about Superior Spider-Man earlier. When
Right.
Doc Ock is inhabiting his body, he doesn't do that, but he creates robotic spiders to like patrol the city, and he can communicate with them, which is basically that's pretty cool.
Right. So now we're at the point where this is kind of where you were talking about before, where Tony Stark says it's under the Avengers pay grade. We're at the party, and he takes off because he sees the blue explosion with the alien weapons. He's chasing down the truck. Now, I had made a note. I made myself some notes, and I have yet to really look at them.
Avada Kedavra.
Oh, yeah. So, again, not looking at my own notes. Guilfoyle is in the movie from Silicon Valley.
Yes.
He is the instructor for the science team thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was cool. I really
meant to
like.
bring that up, but that was not the reference that I was going to use. I was going to use Freaks and Geeks because he played Bill when he was a kid. Have you ever seen Freaks and Geeks?
No.
Oh, it's a great show.
No.
It's where like Franco and Rogan and him and geez, a fucking bunch of other people got their start.
Right.
It was a sitcom. It was only a season long or 2 seasons.
Right.
It's a great show though.
No, I really like Silicon Valley,
Yep.
and he's great in that. So now. Okay, so this is what I wanted to ask. So that scene when he leaves the party, right, and he crashes on the guys trying to sell the weapons, and he's chasing down the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how long has he been Spider-Man at this point? Do we have some element of a time frame?
I wondered that myself. I mean,
Because
I
he
imagine
is
it's
very
not,
amateur Spider-Man.
yeah, where he goes and gets the suit in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
I don't think it's been very long because he's been running around in the homemade suit.
right. Yeah, he
So
doesn't have the homemade suit for that long, right?
Right. No. So I think I have no idea.
A couple
not
months?
very long. Maybe a few months. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I mean, they fortunately didn't give us an origin story because we don't need another one. You know, we know Spider-Man's origin. He's bit. They reference it very little. He's like when he was talking to Ned about being bit by the spider, but even then he only brought it up because Ned wouldn't shut up about it.
Right.
It's not like he was doing it. So,
Right.
But yeah, when he's chasing down the car, he is falling through fences. He's falling through shed roofs. He lands in front of a tent in a backyard at one point. Like he just cannot keep up.
Yeah. The
So-
obligatory Ferris Bueller reference there.
Which one?
All of that. That's all a reference to the end of the movie. In Ferris Bueller, he runs through yards to try to make it home and beat his parents home. Only he does it in a cool way, whereas Spider-Man is
Just
doing it
falls
in a goofy
through
way.
everything,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, I assume because how young was the youngest Spider-Man in comics? Like high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a sophomore, so he's got to be
Yeah, he's at the beginning.
Yeah, he can't be more than
No,
a
I assume
month or
when we
two.
see him again, I don't think he'll be in high school. I think we're going to get to a point where he's a reporter, and we're going to get J. Jonah Jameson and, like, all of the Spider-Men that you know.
Right.
Like, you have Mary Jane, the chick who isn't Mary Jane but is,
Right.
but you don't know her as Mary Jane until the very end of the movie. And they
She's
don't even
a-
say Mary Jane.
No,
they
they say MJ. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, I don't know, it's either going to be the end of high school or the beginning of college where he's a reporter and doing all of that.
Yeah, because I mean he's in his early 20s, so
Right.
they easily could fast forward it a little
Right,
bit.
and if it's going to be a couple years until the next movie, because, you know, it will
Right.
be, it'll be just right for him to be college and moving on.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I wonder if they'll push college or if they'll just skip that, like, and just have him be right out of high school reporter.
Yeah, I wonder that too. I think it all depends on what the story is that we get.
I'm sure we'll get a little bit of that because we're getting the next one in 2019.
Are we? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would think if they were going to do another one, I don't know, man. Goblin would come back and he would have to be friends with Harry Osborn. But there was none of that in this one, so who knows? But then they could do Venom, because Venom inhabits the body of Flash at one point. So they could do that, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, so there's no information, at least as far as IMDb. It just says expected July 5th, 2019. It was announced. All right, let's see here. The film sequel was announced after the successful release of the trailer of Homecoming. It'll start off from the very end of the untitled Avengers movie in 2019, 3 months before its release. Apparently, we're getting Kraven the Hunter.
In the next movie?
Yeah, because it was saying that Tom Holland wanted Jason Momoa as Kraven the Hunter in the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it'll be the first movie of the Phase 4 of the MCU.
Yeah. When everything
So,
changes.
Do we want to discuss some potential possible spoilers
For those movies?
for upcoming?
Shoot.
All right. So potential spoiler warning for Spider-Man 2. And we're going to cover some of this. In the first post-credit sequence of Homecoming, which I have a clip of for the end of the episode, we see Matt Gargan, portrayed by Michael Mando, professing his hatred for Spider-Man. Readers of the comics will be... So this is... Remember I said, who is he?
Yeah, I was hoping you found that out.
Yeah, so that was Mac Gargan. Readers of the comics will probably be familiar with the character as he is the true identity of the Scorpion, who has taken on the wall crawler many times before and was also an early member of the Sinister Six. This may be a hint at the fact that Mando will return as a villain in the film. Due to the post-credit scene in Spider-Man Homecoming, the character Matt Gargan is seen asking for the identity of Spider-Man to an imprisoned Toomes. Thus, Spider-Man's next villain appears to be the Scorpion, leading into the eventual team-up of the Sinister Six, which supposedly they're working on a Sinister Six movie.
Yeah, I thought that they were. I wasn't sure if that had gone by the wayside in favor of other things or not, but I'm not really
It
up
might
on
have just
all
been
of
pushed
that.
back to the Phase 4.
Potentially.
So, but anyway, so now we are at the point where, so this takes place. Oh yeah, we didn't do the what were you thinking? So yeah, so this is Spider-Man almost getting himself killed, and supposedly Tony Stark coming to save the day.
And then he just like swooped down like a monster, and he picked me up and he took me up at like 1,000 feet and just dropped me. How'd you find me? Did you put a tracker in my suit or something?
I put everything in your suit, including this heater.
Whoa. That's better, thanks.
What were you thinking?
The guy with the wings is obviously the source of the weapons. I gotta take him down.
Take him down now, huh? Steady, Crockett. There are people who handle this sort of thing.
The Avengers?
No. Just a little below their pay grade.
Anyway, Mr. Stark, you didn't have to come all the way out here. I had that. I was fine.
Oh, I'm not here.
Thank God this place has Wi-Fi, or you would be toast right now. Thank Ganesh while you're at it.
Is that the end?
Yeah.
It's so funny that he's just hanging out with Ganesh. And I think he made a Miami Vice reference there, calling him Crockett. I'm not really sure. But my favorite thing about that scene is what happens just before, where he actually has the interaction with Vulture. And Vulture being a believable villain, even though he's kind of an anti-hero, not a villain. He doesn't mince words. Like in so many other movies, you have the hero and the villain interact and waste all this time talking and threatening. He just shows up and says, fuck you. He doesn't say fuck you. All he does is grab him and take him way up into the sky and drop his fucking ass.
Right.
Like a fucking seagull with an urchin, man. And that's it. And that's menacing and badass.
All right, so I'm just going to mention it now so I don't forget it at the end of the episode. But can we talk about the very last scene before the stinger where he's taking the suit off and Aunt May sees him? And I love how it was like, what the and then it cut into the music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought that was great.
I was thinking about that when this was playing, actually.
But I like how they're saving that reveal for the next movie. So, but now, does Aunt May find out he's Spider-Man in the comics?
Oh, she must.
Eventually.
How could she not?
Right.
Again, though, like, sorry, I have an itch. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. Like,
Right.
most of the Spider-Man comics I read, if I read them, aren't Spider-Man. They're, like, Superior Spider-Man or some offshoot version of Spider-Man. But most of my interaction with Spider-Man in the comic book world is through the Avengers and things like that, where he's just a supporting character.
Right.
So as for his actual storyline, I'm not really sure. There you go.
Okay. So now we have Toomes. We'll skip that one. I like this training wheels clip here. So we didn't really mention it. It's kind of known. They are in a gifted high school. They're not in your standard high school. It is a high school for people that are really smart scientifically, which you gather by the fact that there are just kids that are like playing chess on their break. I guess that was implied there. Like, what are you doing? Oh, chess.
I did that in school.
Played chess?
Yeah.
Were you really
In my
smart?
free time. Yeah, I was in Gifted and Talented. Which, it's funny. I was in that, right? All through elementary school, and there were only like...
Oh, so was I. I was in Odyssey of the Mind.
I was not in that. Gifted and Talented, there were only 2 kids that they chose from my class, me and my friend Jason, and then a couple other kids that were older than us.
Right.
And they would take us to a different room to do, like, math problems and shit, which is totally fucked up that I was there because I can't do math. And from, like, the other end of it, like, going into it, Gifted and Talented, yeah, I'm super smart. But looking back on it now, I hear Gifted and Talented and feel like they were taking me to the retard room. So, I'm not really sure, but...
The retard room. Was that a hangover? A hangover reference?
Yeah, that was.
Are you? I'm not a retard.
Yes. Yes, indeed. At some point, we'll do that movie.
As long as we don't do the second and third one.
No, thank you.
I mean, you do
I never
one.
even watched
you do,
the third
we
one.
could probably, it'd be fun is to watch all 3 and grab clips from all 3 and then just play them sporadically in one episode.
Right.
And be like, can you guess which one this was from?
It's your Movie Busters mashup episode, Hangover edition.
Right. So Ned is hacking into the multi-million-dollar Spider-Man suit because he wants the tracker removed, and they discover that Tony kind of put some training wheels on there.
There's a ton of other subsystems in here. But they're all disabled by the training wheels protocol.
What? Training wheels protocol. Turn it off.
I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, they're probably blocked for a reason.
Come on, man. I don't need training wheels. I'm sick of him treating me like a kid all the time. It's not cool.
But you are a kid.
Yeah, a kid who can stop a bus with his bare hands.
Peter, I just don't think this is a great idea. I mean, what if this is illegal?
Look, please. This is my chance to prove myself.
Oh, typical teenage hubris.
Right.
So much better than you. Think you're so much better than you are.
Right.
And so Tony Stark to call that the training wheels protocol. And think about stopping a bus with your bare hands. I drive bus-sized vehicles all day. They're big and heavy, man. But in movies, they look so light and crunchy.
Right. Well, it's kind of like when he was holding the ship together.
The physics just don't work. Inertia. It's a property of matter. You'd be fucked.
Superpowers, man.
Ugh.
Well, I always like it when they try and go a little bit realistic with those scenes in those movies where they have the superhero, but then it wraps around them.
Right.
Because, like, yeah, you're stopping the point you're touching.
Right.
But there's a lot of weight there. Right. And they almost become like the cinder block pillar.
Yeah, Luke Cage is a good example of that. Did you watch that?
I have not. I tried to watch the first episode and couldn't get into it.
I was so into it. I never finished it. Did I finish that one? I never did watch Iron Fist.
I watched Daredevil.
Daredevil
I tried to get into Jessica Jones. Couldn't get into it.
That was my favorite one.
I couldn't get into it. I watched some of the first episode. I like Daredevil.
I like Daredevil.
And I want
too.
Punisher.
So do I.
Yeah.
You saw the trailer with Metallica?
I have not.
You should stop everything right now and just watch it.
All right.
On the show. We're in Marvel. You might as well pull it up and fucking watch it. You haven't seen that yet?
No.
You should watch it right now.
Well, I'm not going to watch it now.
You should watch it now.
Because you said it has Metallica in it?
No, you should watch it right now.
It'll fuck up YouTube and everything. We'll watch it afterwards. Because that fucks up YouTube. So I want to play this. This clip doesn't really do anything other than the fact that the voice is funny.
Remember me? Hey, I need information. You can give it to me now.
All right, chill.
Come on.
What happened to your voice?
What do you mean, what happened to my voice?
I heard you by the bridge. I know what a girl sound like.
I'm not a girl. I'm a boy. I mean, I'm a man.
I don't care what you are. Boy, girl.
I'm not a girl. I'm a man.
Yes. I love that Donald Glover was in that movie after everybody wanted him to play Miles Morales, and now he's basically referenced as Morales' uncle.
Right. Wouldn't he be a little old for Miles Morales?
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's such a little guy, I guess, and he's always touting himself as a geek and a Marvel fan.
Right.
But regardless, I'm super excited to see him as Lando.
I was going to say, isn't Miles Morales' uncle a character?
Probably. I mean, he must be, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah, and he's Calrissian.
yeah.
So that'll be
Yeah.
cool.
I don't subscribe to any of the Ultimate Universe, even though now it's all one universe.
Right.
I'm not gonna get back into comics for another month. When they're bringing back Wolverine, he's coming back to life and they're
Again?
yeah, but he's been dead for 4 years. He's been encased in adamantium, and I read up until the point where he died and stayed dead, and then they had Battle World or Secret Wars Part 2, and they took Earth 616 and the Ultimate Universe and mashed it all together, so now everybody exists in the same place. But they're having Marvel Legacy, X-Men Legacy, and they're bringing back that Wolverine. So I'll go back into that because I'm going to like that better.
Right.
I don't need Old Man Logan and all of that. Old Man Logan was great as an offshoot, but now he's taken the place of Logan, and then they have X-23 playing Wolverine. Like in the Wolverine title in the comics, she's doing it. I don't need Laura to do that. I want original Logan back. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, in regards to that, this movie makes me want to go read Spider-Man comics. They did, I think, make the character likable.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. It's not my favorite hero. It's not my favorite hero.
Right. I was never really a big fan, but most of my connection to him was the games.
Yeah.
And the movies, and I didn't really care for the movies. I will say that the game that's going to be a PS4 exclusive that's coming out looks amazing, and I think it'll be one of the bigger games next year.
It's amazing to me too, and I know we've talked about this a million times, but given all the superhero movies now,
yeah,
they haven't really made any games, whereas it used to be we have to rush a shitty game out to go with this movie.
But I think the last one that went hand in hand with it was one of the Iron Man games, which I think was a pile of shit.
I never played.
Yeah. So now he after that interrogation, he finds out that they're on a cruise ship, and he goes to the cruise ship. Or I guess it's a transport ferry, whatever.
Just a quick aside, I can't believe you haven't seen that Punisher trailer. That's crazy. It's good.
I'll watch it.
Okay.
All right. So they're on the ferry, and he kind of attacks him. It ends up going haywire. The ferry ends up falling apart. And only to be saved by Iron Man. And now Tony Stark is pretty pissed. Because he's like, look, I left you here. What the fuck are you doing?
Daddy Stark's coming home.
Oh, and yeah, he was pissed. I think he played the role well, though, and I think he was good in this scene.
Previously on Peter Screws the Pooch, I tell you to stay away from this. Instead, you hacked a multi-million-dollar suit so you could sneak around behind my back doing the one thing I told you not to do.
Is everyone okay?
No thanks to you.
No thanks to me? Those weapons were out there, and I tried to tell you about it, but you didn't listen. None of this would have happened if you would just listen to me. If you even cared, you'd actually be here.
I did listen, kid. Who do you think called the FBI, huh? Do you know that I was the only one who believed in you? Everyone else said I was crazy to recruit a 14-year-old kid.
I'm 15.
No, this is where you zip it, all right? The adult is talking.
He got pretty pissed.
Yeah, and again, like, yeah, you have the teenage reaction there, but a lot of that is on Stark for not being communicative. He did listen, and had he just told him that and, was a little bit more straightforward with him, then he could have avoided all those problems.
Right.
But that being said, would it have fallen on deaf ears anyway because Parker was trying to prove himself and would have just found some other trouble to get into?
Well, I think that was one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations.
Right.
Because, like, he obviously left him in the dark because he wanted to push the kid to his limits.
Yeah, obviously.
And he wanted to see what he was capable of.
It was just Stark testing. And
right.
I think a little bit, trying to keep him safe and out of harm's way. But if he really wanted to do that, then he would have been more upfront with it.
Right.
But instead, but I mean, it goes to show that he's passing the test. The first question he asks is whether or not everybody's safe. And I mean, it comes into play later on when they, the end of the movie when they offer him the new suit and he's like, "Oh, did I pass the test?" And they're like, "Yep." And then they go out in the press conference. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, all that.
So now we get into the third act of the movie where we find out that his crush Liz is the Vulture's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Big twist. Here's the big moment in the movie.
And he is giving them a ride to homecoming.
The one scene in the movie that I think would have been award winning I mean, Michael Keaton steals the show, you know?
Right.
Peter has an internship with Tony Stark, so I think he doesn't have to worry.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Stark.
So cool.
What do you do?
Actually, I don't intern for him anymore.
Seriously?
Yeah, it got, boring.
It was boring? You got to hang out with Spider-Man.
Really? Spiderman. Wow. What's he like?
Yeah, he's nice. Nice man. Solid dude.
Hmm.
Yeah, and from there it goes on to see Vulture piece together that he was never around when Spider-Man was around, and he realizes that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to do, as much as we're spoiling the movies and the shows, I'm trying to make the clips a little less spoilery. Give more to the people who haven't quite seen the movie yet.
Right. Well, if you haven't seen the movie, you shouldn't watch this.
So, I want to dive into a little IMDb stuff here right now, okay? So I do this every once in a while. I find it funny because, as you know, I'm a vulgar person. I think that censorship is kind of dumb, right? So every once in a while, especially in a movie that is primarily aimed towards the younger teenager, like it's obviously for adults too, because adults are going to love their comic book movies, but it's more childish than the other Marvel movies.
Right.
And I love to read the parents' guides into how ridiculous they are.
Do tell.
All right. So, for sex and nudity, an underage girl comments that she would F Thor. I forgot about that. I loved that they were playing Marry, Fuck, Kill with the Avengers.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing about this movie is it's true to what it is to be a teenager for the most part. Minus the superpowers and super villains.
I think that is also the perk of having actors that are over the age of 18.
Right.
Because you can do stuff like that.
Right. Well, I mean, you still could. You just have to have your parents on set. Like Thora Birch and American Beauty.
Right.
We talked about that.
Right.
Speaking of that, Playboy and Hugh Hefner dying, some model sued her mother because up until a certain point, Playboy had underage nudity in it. The girl that sued her mother, she's older now, obviously, but way back in the day, she was put in Playboy at age 11. Yeah.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Absolutely horrible. When was that?
I saw it online. It was, I don't know, man. It was a ways back, obviously. But
Right. Yeah, it had to have been.
Right.
And that was a similar concept, the parental consent thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I wonder if she would win that lawsuit.
I would hope so.
Yeah, because that's like disgusting.
There we are. It wasn't illegal until the 70s.
Oh. And Playboy's been around since what, 50s, 60s?
Early 60s.
Early 60s?
I have all of those old Playboys. From way back. Yeah.
They were very bushy.
Yep. Well, if you saw that, I mean, it was... And it wasn't Penthouse, you know.
Playboy it's true. It was more of the...
Right. Playboy went under the guise of being, like, artsy.
Right. That was how he kind of started to break those walls down.
Right. But, I mean, I don't know. The nudity's supposed to be secondary, I guess. That's the draw.
Right.
But then they actually had some good content. A lot of your prolific writers have, you know, short stories there. And, I mean, a lot of people got their start there. Like, Shel Silverstein started doing cartoons, you know. Yep.
Interesting. Maybe we can focus on some of that on All Geeked Up next week.
Oh, maybe.
That would be cool to go back there. If we remember. But anyway, so Peter is repeatedly called Penis Parker by a bully. And
when I say penis, you say Parker. Parker.
And they chanted at a party. Violence and gore. A character gets disintegrated by a piece of alien weaponry. Though we find out moments later it was an accident. I like how they included that in the description. But here's like profanity. All right. So like it's alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Aunt May has a glass of beer at a restaurant.
Oh,
like,
my
are people
goodness.
that anal?
Yes.
What is wrong with people?
Well, those people are the people that do dirty shit behind closed doors and then try to be holier than thou online.
Peter is offered a drink, but declines and states that he is too young to drink.
See, he went through the DARE program. He knows what's up.
Right? The middle finger is shot in a scene. The final line of the movie is incomplete with a what the cut to credits. I don't know. People are really anal.
Yeah, give us a break.
Right. So, speaking of inappropriate things, while Ned is helping Spider-Man, he gets caught, and it's probably one of my favorite lines in the movie.
Peter, are you okay?
Yeah. Just keep trying to get through to Happy.
It's been an honor, Spider-Man.
What are you doing here? There's a dance.
I'm looking at porn.
I'm surprised that wasn't in the parental thing.
He's trying to get to happy, you know?
Right.
We're all just trying to get a little happy.
But I love the fact that, like, a high school kid looking at porn on the library computer was less incriminating than I'm helping Spider-Man.
Right. Hilarious. You think if you would have just said, well, she probably wouldn't have believed it, but.
Right, I was helping Spider-Man. It's like, nah, you were watching porn.
I'm by myself at the dance. I'm a wallflower.
Right.
I have to get some hand.
So now there was from that point on, I mean, there's a good 40 minutes here, but it was a lot of fight, not a lot of dialogue, not a lot of clips. That fight scene on the plane and into it was great. So we end up getting the climax of the movie. The Stark plane was awesome. How it has like all the cloaking cameras, so it mimics the sky, so it can like that's all really cool tech. Obviously fake tech, but cool for the movie. I don't think it's too fake. I'm sure they're
not fake. They have cameras and reflective panels now that do that.
Oh, okay.
I doubt they look as good, but they do it.
They do it enough for the naked eye.
Right. They have suits like that now too, like faux invisibility suits where it has cameras on it that will film what's in front and behind you and then display it on your suit so that it looks like you're invisible.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're super expensive.
I have no doubt.
I want one.
So we already played the whole, like, him being berated by Stark, right? And to him taking the suit away.
Yes.
Yeah. So at this point, like, he's lost the suit and he has to do all this on his own and discover that he is Spider-Man, not the suit.
Right. Which I think is a very important thing. And I think, like I said, there's a lot of... Tony rolled the dice. And it just all happened to work out.
Yep.
Because, like, Parker could have been killed.
Right.
Like, even... So I get it. Like, the thing on the ferry, yeah, Parker could have been killed. But he had to have known he was going to go after the Vulture. So,
of course.
So, like, let me just take away your multi-million-dollar suit and here, go fight this guy with alien technology in a hoodie.
Stark is kind of the Rick Sanchez of the Marvel Universe where he's just super smart and an
was
asshole.
this kind of Rick and Morty?
Yeah. Was it not? Like, he already knows what's going to happen and he just has to, like, guide him to it.
Right. Man, I'm surprised there haven't been Rick and Morty memes made up with some of the screen grabs from this movie then. Because that does make sense.
Yeah.
Like,
you have a good point. They could do it, too. There's episodes where Rick and Morty are in armor like Iron Man armor. They could do it.
Let these two do the Rick and Morty movie.
Jesus Christ. Probably never get made. It takes so long to make a season now.
Right. So this is so he's taken down Vulture. He's saved the Vulture's life, which in turn winds up saving his life later on.
Yep.
And then Happy ends up getting a hold of him, and Trump. Close enough. I was going to say Avengers Tower, but Trump Tower. It all just kind of flows right there.
Yeah, it's all the same.
The Avengers Tower has been relocated, so I guess that's going to be our new base in the new movie.
Yeah, the upstate location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes
Which
sense.
I don't
get him out of New York.
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
So, but
I think that's what that is the movie version of Secret Avengers because Cap is running that at that point in time, and he ends up doing the offshoot Avengers.
Is Cap not still in prison?
He doesn't go to prison. He goes to Wakanda
or whatever it was. Didn't they make the reference of how?
Well, they made
I
they
think
said
he's
he
a
was
war
a war
criminal. Yeah,
and all that. But before that, he went upstate and he was training them. That was the end of one of them, right?
I don't remember.
So I'm trying to get my chronology right. So what he's doing now is training the Secret Avengers. He went and took half the team after Civil War and disappeared.
Right.
So that's okay. So that's what's going on now, and then you have the upstate location with the Avengers.
Right.
Right. So everything I said was pointless because it doesn't relate to anything.
Because I don't remember the end of Civil War. I'm gonna have to now that the hype is over and everything. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah. I mean, there's good story there. The end of Civil War is him going to Wakanda with Black Panther.
Right.
And some people go with him, and there you have the Secret Avengers.
Okay. All right. So this is Spidey and Starky. Spidey and Starky. Rick and Morty. Spidey and Starky. So well, I guess it could be Stark and Spidery. Spidey. I don't fucking know. Whatever. This is them talking.
Don't see that every day. Oh, there they are. How's the right up? Good? Give me a minute with the kid.
Seriously?
Yeah. I gotta talk to the kid.
I'll be close behind.
How about a loose follow? All right? Boundaries are good. Sorry I took your seat. I mean, you had it coming. Actually, it turns out it was the perfect sort of tough love moment that you needed, right? To urge you on, right? Wouldn't you think? Don't you think? Let's just say it was.
Mr. Stark, I
You
really...
screwed the pooch hard. Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
Screwed the pooch hard. So we end up seeing a new spider suit. He turns it down. He passes what was led to be another test, but it wasn't really a test.
No, they thought he would take the suit. Totally underestimated that one.
Yeah. Now, are we to be under the impression that what he turned the announcement into was him proposing to Pepper Potts? Is that what that was?
Yeah, but I guess like Pepper breaks up with him and ends up getting together with Happy at some point in the comics.
Right.
So I don't know. But yeah, that seems to be what the moment became. So that suit, we talked a little before the show about whether or not that was the Iron Spider suit.
Right.
And it very well could be, because obviously in the movie they're going to change the way things look.
Right.
But it could also be the Spider suit Mark III, which is essentially literally like Iron Man heavy armor. They called it the Sinister Six armor.
Right.
So that it was beefy enough, like a Hulkbuster armor, but that way he could fight all of the Sinister Six at once.
Right.
But I'm leaning more toward it being the Iron Spider.
Right.
Because the Iron Spider suit is cooler, and why wouldn't it be?
Now, so...
You know what else is funny about that is that he just barely got the first suit and didn't even get to really use it without the training wheel thing and like all the features. And the motherfucker's giving him a brand new suit already? Come on. Oh, I took your suit away.
Well, how many...
You earned it back, but now I'm giving you a new suit.
How many suits does Iron Man have at this point?
Oh, boy.
It's like Mark 500.
He's got stealth suits. He's got symbiote suits. He's got iron suits. He's got them all.
At this point, see, they don't even need to recast Tony Stark. At this point, I mean, if they just come in and have him do voice.
Right.
And like all the Iron Man, they're all androids.
Right.
Like they don't need a body. Like why would he? Just make androids for all the Avengers, and that will be the next level of the Avengers. They're all androids.
Yep.
They're all robots with AI. Yeah, so I don't know. One of the complaints that I was reading about this movie was that they dumbed down Spider-Man. Spider-Man was never about the tech. He was all about his intelligence, or never about like the upgraded tech and like the super suit. Like his suit was always just spandex, right? There was nothing special about his suit.
No.
It was all him and his intelligence. Because like, and that was the big complaint about the Sam Raimi movies, was they made the web shooters organic.
Yeah.
Whereas they were never organic. He made web capsules. And we got a glimpse of that in this movie where he was crafting...
Yeah, the web fluid.
Yeah. In school. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like it just because, I mean, I like... And I know that was a big complaint when he was in Civil War, was you could hear the mechanical gears in his eyes.
See, I like all that because, again, like it...
But we're
makes
gadget
it,
guys.
Well, yes, and it makes it fit more in line with the continuity of these movies.
Right.
I mean, again, we're basing it off the comics, but it's a different thing.
Right.
And, you know, he has to come from somewhere, and if you don't want to go through the whole origin story, then he needs something else, at least.
Right.
So with Tony Stark, they're giving him that extra jump forward. It only makes sense that he would have that suit.
Right.
And
yeah.
he does end up getting a suit like that, more than one, from Tony Stark.
Right.
So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it just they skipped the whole
Right.
thing we've seen in the last 5 movies.
Right, and they've negated Spider Sense in lieu of that, given him an onboard computer. Which,
Right.
again, I'm fine
It's-
with.
And that is the Spider Sense. It's
Right.
just the modern.
Right.
It's,
I like it
it's-
better.
It's the Spider Siri.
Right.
So yeah, so that's basically the end of the movie. There, we get the scene, we get the call off. He's back in his suit, and the scene we've talked about a couple of times where he's in his suit. He takes his mask off. you see Aunt May in the background, and you get the what the and then it cuts to the credits.
Yep. Hilarious.
So, but as somebody who, because this movie had a lot of hype, everybody loved it for the most part. As somebody who, I didn't really care for Winter Soldier, I didn't really care for Civil War at the time of the viewing.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten to the point where I'm kind of tired of superhero movies almost. This movie, and like I had just said, maybe I should go watch Civil War again. This movie for me has almost breathed life back into those. Like,
did you see Guardians too?
Yeah, but I don't hold them at the same. Like, those are their own. I mean, I get it's the same
different.
universe.
Yeah, they're
but
sci-fi though. I mean, it's different.
And it's not. They're not Cape and Cowl.
Right. I am never going to be over the superhero movies. Lay 'em on me. And as for Civil War and Winter Soldier, yeah, they're good. I like them.
Yeah. So, but no, this has made me excited for them again. It's made me excited for what's going to be Phase 4.
Right.
So I hope we get more than 3 movies with Holland as Spider-Man. I hope that Fox works more. I would love to see, or Sony. I'm sorry, I keep saying Fox. It's Sony that worked with them. I was saying Fox. Fox is X-Men. Man, I hope with the success of this now we can get Fox working with Disney, so we can kind of bring this whole world together.
Well, the problem there is that they've had success with Deadpool, and they finally
and
figured,
Logan.
Right, so they finally figured out a formula with their heroes.
They
that
make
works.
their adult movies.
Right. So now they're kind of, and with Spider-Man, I think there was a lot of give and take there. Like I don't know the ins and outs of any of that. Talk to the else nerds; they would know because I don't.
Right.
But I think there was a lot of give and take where you let us use that character and we'll give you this in return and blah, blah.
Well, yeah, because they let Stark as Iron Man be in a Sony movie.
Right.
So, and you had both of the studios' openings on it. So now we have the first stinger, which was Toomes in prison, as I had referenced when we were reading the spoiler a little bit there. So this is... you realize that when Spider-Man saved his life, that didn't go unnoticed, which is a good thing. And again, it kind of goes back to the beginning where he's not really a bad guy. He
was just doing what he had to do to support himself and his family and his coworkers,
right,
his employees.
Look who it is. What are the odds you and I'd end up at the same summer camp? Relax. It's not on you. It's on our little spider friend. I've got some boys on the outside who'd love to meet him. You know, take a picture, slice his throat, put his head in a dryer. And I heard a rumor. You know who he is?
If I knew who he was, he'd already be dead.
So he obviously keeps up his facade.
Yeah.
Plays the badass, but he's protecting Peter.
Yep.
Because Peter saved his life. Peter saved his daughter's life. He tried to kill him numerous times, and even then, he still was He was the bigger man, and pulled him out of the wreckage and saved his life. So, and again, that speaks to the character of Toomes, that he's not really a villain.
Right.
Like, now he's kind of forced into that role because he's the Vulture, and everyone's going to know him as the Vulture. But he does have a heart.
Yeah.
So I like that there's some depth to the villain there, because we've talked several times on several podcasts about how Marvel villains typically suck.
No, and I think he was one of the best movie villains to date. I mean, the thing about Marvel villains is they're villains that always end up becoming good. I mean, if you look at Loki, good guy. Now, if you look at Winter Soldier, good guy.
Wait, Loki's a good guy now?
Well, in the same vein as, like, I'm going to fuck with you, but I'm going to help you.
Right.
Like, he definitely works with Thor.
He's like the trickster.
Right. But, I mean, like...
Did you know that he called Black Widow a cunt in one of the movies, but he used it in a different language, and he got it by the...
No, that's excellent.
Yeah. Keep talking what you were saying, and I'll look it up.
That totally threw me off. I basically made my point. I was just reiterating it about Winter Soldier, and a lot of the other Marvel baddies end up being good guys. But I'm excited to see what this is all about.
All right. So, in the Avengers movie,
Mewling Quim.
he calls her a mewling quim, which translates into modern English as a whining cunt.
From, like, what, Old Norse?
Victorian era slang, which literally means a whimpering vagina. This can be used as an insult synonymous to whiny bitch, crybaby, or a wussy.
I see.
But in modern English, it translates to whining cunt.
Very good to know, you whiny cunt.
I read that on a Cracked article.
Well, that is fucking crazy.
So now we have a little bit of Steve Rogers at the very end.
Lay it on me, Cap.
And this was kind of funny.
Hi, I'm Captain America. Here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have. Patience. Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
That's funny.
It's going to be a shame to lose the current cast.
Yeah, and I know at the very least, the fuck. Sorry, I was looking at my work day for tomorrow. It's not good. The guy that plays Cap, I know he's on board to
Chris
keep
Evans?
playing. Yeah, he's definitely
I thought he
on
was
board.
done. I thought he wanted to get into directing and he was done acting.
Maybe, but from what I heard, yeah, he wants to keep going.
Maybe that's changed, but that would be cool because no, he's great, and I think he embodied. I think that's and again we've talked about this on several shows several times where you can't recast Tony or Steve.
No, it's just not gonna
like
work.
they are them. They just it fits. It is what it is. But anyway, so what'd you think?
Of the movie, I liked it, but again, second viewing, I liked it less.
Right.
Still liked it. Probably won't go back and revisit it, even though I just spent $18 on it.
I will say it's
I'll rewatch it at some point. But
it's beautiful in 4K.
No doubt.
Yeah, and I like so. I got my Apple TV 4K last Friday. The only real big studio that's held out is Disney from the Apple agreement, which means none of the Marvel movies, none of the Star Wars movies, and none of the Disney animated movies are in 4K.
Right.
Which sucks. The beauty of this is a Sony movie, so this is in 4K.
Nice.
And it's really pretty in 4K.
Nice.
So especially the scene at the end with when they're fighting on the plane. With like when you have all like the different color specs in the panels, that looks really pretty in 4K.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
So
very cool.
But no, I liked it, and like I said, I think it resparked. Like I kind of want to go and watch Civil War again, and
yeah,
I want more Spider-Man.
It's good that this makes you want to go back and revisit just for the fact that it's one long fucking web of storylines. Pun intended. You should watch the Punisher trailer now, though.
I will. Well, we'll end the episode. That way, the Punisher trailer audio isn't being brought up on YouTube.
Surely.
And then we'll watch the Punisher trailer. Surely, you must be joking.
Don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley. Big thank you to our live audience, as usual. Thank you to everyone that listens to this in podcast form. Do we have a movie for next week?
We definitely talked about it last week, and now I can't remember.
Me neither. We are in Halloween now, in Halloween month. We are in Halloween. We're in Halloween month. It is October 1st. So do we start the horror movies?
I think so. I'll find something.
You know
we'll
what?
Discuss.
No. If we're,
discuss.
I want to have an outright. If we're gonna watch a horror movie, just because I haven't seen it since it came out, and I really liked it, even though a bunch of other people hated it. Jackie Earl Haley's remake of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Because there's that, and then there's also where they tried to reboot Friday the 13th, which I thought was really good, but everybody else hated.
Yeah, I don't really like slasher movies. They're not scary. They're dumb.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's why I liked Jackie Earl's Nightmare on Elm Street, because it tried to be a little bit more psychological.
Right.
And it got you more into the life of Freddy Krueger prior. Like, it actually really got into the fact that he was a pedophile that murdered the children.
Right.
Which they didn't really touch on much in the original.
No, just in passing.
Right.
Yeah, we can do that. That'll be cool. I'll revisit that movie.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see that. No, I think we should do that. We'll come up with one, and then Nightmare Before Christmas for the Halloween episode.
Yeah, we'll have to do that at some point.
Yeah.
This is Halloween.
I love Manson's cover of that song.
I know you do.
All right.
I know it.
So anyway, follow us on Twitter at MovieBustersPod. Follow us on Facebook, MovieBusters Podcast. If you have a comment on this movie or any of the other movies that we have watched so far, you can email us at moviebusterspodcast@gmail.com. If you have a suggestion, now again, any movie we pick, it's always, nothing's carved in stone. If you have a suggestion for a Halloween-themed movie going into October, then, tweet at us or email us and let us know what you'd like us to watch. This podcast will be around for a while. We're gonna have several Halloween seasons to go through.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
No, it's good. It's enjoyable. It's a good show.
It's a me.
Man, October is gonna be huge. We'll talk about it on All Geeked Up next week. But man, like everything is coming out this month.
I know it. I saw that.
Between October and November, there's a lot of money to be spent.
Yep.
I'm not happy.
No.
But yeah, tomorrow night, live on Twitch at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can catch Amy Frost and myself for episode 3 of Indie Case Files, where we will be talking about The Escapist 2. And then we're going to have some Halloween-themed games coming up for Indie Case Files as well, going into the Halloween season. I think we're going to just focus on the last one. I don't know, last week, but we're going to talk about that. I know we've got Cuphead being talked about and whatnot, so some fun games coming up for that show. And then back to usual basics with All Geeked Up again next Friday. So yeah, everybody, enjoy your week. Review the podcast. And we will talk to you soon.
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Badges? We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.